Fred Barnes, executive editor of the Weekly Standard and a Fox News contributor, and in New York, Catherine Rampell, a columnist for the Washington Post. Fred, so now we know the diagnosis is pneumonia. Right. We've seen the video. How much does this elevate to the top of the campaign agenda, the state of Hillary Clinton's health, and how much of an issue is this going to be for the press?
I think it's going to be a big issue for the press, particularly those who are writing that this was an outrage that Donald Trump had raised any questions about her stamina and health and so on. Perfectly legitimate questions, because her conduct, and not just the coughing, but something, showing up late for an interview and odd expressions. Anyway, there were a lot of things that she did. And here's what we need, though, Howie. We need to hear from the doctor. We need to hear from Hillary Clinton. You know, one of the things, and I know you've noticed it over the years, is there's one thing that politicians, whether Republicans or Democrats, are never honest about, or are rarely honest about, and that's their health. I mean, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke, and then his wife ran the government, and they never told us that, and JFK had all these diseases.
Let me get Catherine Rampell in here on the question of how much this issue is now fair game, given that we're in the home stretch of a general election, and whether or not also it will lend itself to those who want to perhaps exaggerate the health failings of Mrs. Clinton.
I don't know. I don't understand why a cough has been such a big deal. People get sick. I can imagine that the campaign trail has been a very exhausting experience. The fact that she has pneumonia, which apparently her doctor says now, actually makes it more impressive that she's been able to have as much stamina, to use the word of art, as she has, given that I've had pneumonia in the past, and I'm sure I would not have been able to withstand that. But I don't really understand why having a cough, having pneumonia is really the critical concern for who should lead our country. I care more about temperament, I would say, than one's lung health.
Well, I think it's a fair statement, though, to say that it doesn't help if you're in September of an election year and you have to deal with pneumonia, even if nobody in the press speculates about it. Let me turn to some other things involving Hillary Clinton this week, Fred. She finally held a press conference after 9 months. She talked to her press corps on the plane a couple of days in a row. There were questions ranging from Andrea Mitchell of NBC asking about her email to one reporter saying, well, the RNC has criticized you for not smiling enough at that NBC forum. So what do you think of the press now that it's finally gotten a crack at Hillary?
Well, I'm glad she showed up, and particularly with the traveling press, which is the one press corps, or at least one, that is following every story. They're really up to speed on what's going on, whether it's the emails or anything else. So they're the ones to talk to, but you need to talk to them more than, just 5 or 10 minutes, and if she keeps that up, she'll be fine. I only think she did it, though, because she was getting criticized for it, and it became a problem for her not showing up.
No question the media made this a major issue, Catherine. At the same time, Donald Trump, who's had his more than a year-long battle with the press, ending the media blackout, lifting the credentials, or restoring the credentials, I should say, of organizations like the Washington Post, Politico, Huffington Post, BuzzFeed, and others. So it seems like both candidates are trying to be a little more accommodating to the press corps. Your thoughts?
I think both of them have a long ways to go to be fully transparent with the press, to have more contact with their press corps. I mean, Donald Trump still does not allow the press pool following him to be on his plane. Both of them, I would add, should have more contact, should disclose more on taxes, on health, on everything else. There's a long way for both of them to go.
Can I call with one thing there? Look, Donald Trump is a hard guy to interview. He's tough. He's kind of a bully. Questioners don't like to go back and repeat the same question over and over again, which is what they need to do with Trump to show that he's not answering something. But Trump I want to say, Trump has been available more than any other presidential candidate that I've ever seen. Now, you may not like his answer.
In the history of mankind. But you set me up for this, because one of the issues that has dogged Donald Trump is this question of why he hasn't renounced the birtherism argument he made 5 years ago in President Obama. Rudy Giuliani, one of his top surrogates, was on MSNBC with Chris Matthews, and they had this heated exchange.
Do you confirm that? Do you agree with that?
I confirm that, and Donald Trump now confirms that. Hillary Clinton.
When did he do that? When did he do that?
He did that.
When did he do that?
2 years ago. 3 years ago.
When did he has now accepted that birtherism was nonsense? Donald
Trump believes now that he was born in the United States. But that issue was raised originally.
Catherine, I've got half a minute. Is the press entitled to say we don't want to hear it from Rudy, we want to hear it from Donald Trump, so we can kind of close that chapter?
Well, Donald Trump has been asked about this several times in the last couple of months, and every time he has said, I'm not going to answer that, I don't talk about that anymore. So yes, I agree. We need someone other than a surrogate. We need Trump himself to definitively declare that he, that the suspicion about the president's legitimacy, about his birth, has been lifted. He should recant his whole campaign that he led, trying to discredit the president himself.
All right.
And Trump needs to just come out and acknowledge it.
Last comment.
We need to hear it from Trump, just as we need to hear from other than a written statement from the Hillary Clinton campaign about her health, her doctor, and from her.
All right. Fred Barnes, Catherine Rampell, thanks very much. I think we will be hearing from Hillary Clinton. She will want to talk to the country about this new diagnosis just disclosed this hour of pneumonia.